If there's a living example of the power of just getting on with it, it's Barbara Holborow. From a childhood battling disease to her position as one of Australia's leading magistrates, she's shown that anything is possible if you just put your mind to it.
When I was 13, I was crying in my bedroom, and my grandmother came in, and she was a tough old bird, and she said, "Why are you crying?" And I said, "I'm sick of having injections. I'm sick of having to be on a diet. I don't want to be a diabetic." And she said, "Well, you can sit there and cry for the rest of your life, or get on with it," and walked out of the room. And I sat there for a few moments and I thought, ain't that the truth? Am I going to sit here and cry for the rest of my life or get on with it? And I did. I got on with it.
Getting on with it, Barbara became a lawyer and then a magistrate at the head of a special court dedicated to helping neglected children. It's still something she sees as a landmark moment in her life.
I don't think I've had one particular success. I think I've had a number of little successes. And one of them was to open a court, and the only one of its type in Australia, where we just dealt with neglected children, no crime, so that we separated them, because it absolutely, neglected children have got nothing to do with kids who knock off motor cars. And so you need to deal in that atmosphere with that problem. And when that court was set up in 1990, I really felt I had achieved something.
As a magistrate, she daringly opened her court to scrutiny and became an outstanding commentator on the rights of young people and victims of crime in general. Experience has taught her that young people today are beset by dangers and temptations that their parents never knew and often still don't understand.
I know that kids are probably sick and tired of hearing about drugs. But all I can say to them is that when I went on to the bench in 1982, and when I was a lawyer for 12 years before that, there were no drugs. But after the introduction of drugs into the kids' communities in the mid-80s, then the crime escalated. And when I left the bench in 1994, I had 10-year-olds appearing before me who'd been dealing on their way to school. That is the biggest danger.
Eventually frustrated at the restrictions of her position, Barbara resigned from the court to give herself the freedom she needed to tackle the issues facing young Australians.
In 1994, when I left the bench, I left in anger. I didn't retire, I resigned. I had become a rubber stamp. There were children who should have been able to go home and be with their parents. The parents loved them, but they needed support to properly parent. The support wasn't there, and it should have been there. I couldn't see that they were going to get that support. I couldn't see that I was going to be able to alter anything while I stayed on the bench.
We will accept your religion. We will accept your language. We will accept your culture in relation to your dress, your manner, everything, but we will not accept your cruelty to your children. And it matters not to me that it's been happening for thousands of years over there. It will not happen in this country. And it certainly won't happen in my court.
Even today, returning to her old courtroom evokes bittersweet memories.
When I come back to this court and look at it and remember the years I spent here, it is incredibly emotional, incredibly.
Understandably, she still regrets the closure of her court and believes it could have contributed a great amount to Australian children.
The value of this court can never ever really be estimated, and it is such a loss to the community that it is now not sitting 5 days a week. Care matters, as opposed to criminal matters, which you can deal with fairly easily. Care matters are lengthy. You have to make sure that these dysfunctional families that come before you can be supported. There isn't the support there that there should be. We have to find ways of teaching, educating them, assisting them, not only the children, but the families.
But what she has realised is that it wasn't the battered old courthouse that proved important, but the life-changing initiatives and achievements inside it.
It has been so satisfying to me to see these people, because once I dealt with a case, I never knew how that child or young person fared in my decision. And I used to hope to God that at least I got it right 50% of the time. Every child, every young person needs someone, be it a parent, be it a guardian, be it a grandparent, to love them, to guide them, to nurture them, to be there for them, in the good times as well as the bad.
And they also need to learn, just as she did so many years before, to just get on with it.
I don't think the majority of young people are prepared for what's going to hit them when they leave school. And it's like a slap in the face. You know, it's a reality show. And some of them have to harden up a bit before they get out there. Some kids cope, and again, some kids don't. But I think some of them, it's a real shock how hard it is to make a quid, to work, to study, keep studying to get into a better position. It's tough.
That's the message she hopes Australian youth will take home from her involvement in Step to the Future.
What I love about Step to the Future and being involved in it, that almost every forum we have a different mixture of speakers, and they inspire kids. Not the one kid, they inspire different kids in different ways. And sure, we mightn't have a 100% success, but we do have successes. And I personally know of some of those successes. And if we can turn one young person's life around, we've achieved. And I'm sure Step to the Future just does that.
And Barbara values the kids' feedback. It keeps her inspired.
Yeah.
This isn't a question, I'm just saying you're a champion.